a cowboy, a clown, and those things. Get different things up there. Cowboy, clowns.
Is it recording or not yet?
Gary B.
They didn't do an update, did they? Tonight.
Actually, Karen, I will take a Kleenex.
James, could you pass the box?
Saute-moi.
Did you hear anything from Waukesha?
Yeah, we had a meeting.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Did it go well?
it went, yeah. I can talk about it in our report
Good.
quickly.
We have audio, but we don't have video.
So just go ahead.
Yeah, we're trying with the audio.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize. We were having trouble with our video portion of the meeting, and you do have audio. So I just wanted to explain the village board did open at 5:30 and went into closed session to discuss some items that were on the agenda. We are now in open session. Today is Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. And the village board is now under miscellaneous matters. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong agenda. I just wanted the public to know that we are going to interview our possible candidate for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department as a replacement to our Ward Hollingsworth, who is now retired. So that will be on the next board agenda. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to rescind the previous motion of approval for the intermunicipal government agreement with the Village of Mukwonago for sewer and water agreement which was made on September 21st, 2023. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Jim Solani. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Trustee Dylan Newman, second that motion. As stated, we did approve this, and there was a new resolution with new agreement with very, very little changes. But just to be clean, we wanted to adopt the same document that the Village of Mukwonago did. So that's why we're doing that. Is there any discussion on this item? Discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Now I'd entertain a motion to approve the new intermunicipal government agreement with the Village of Mukwonago for sewer and water as presented in your e-packet. Is there a motion to that effect with a contingency that it has legal review?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by trustee Gary Finch. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Jeff Millies. I know, gentlemen, you all got a chance to read it. Any questions or discussions on this item before we call for a vote? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? There are no opposed?
Nay.
Oh, nay, excuse me, one nay. And Dylan, you're abstaining?
Yeah.
And one abstention, so 3-2, well, one nay. Sorry, Jim, I should have known that, mea culpa. Nancy Dean should be here shortly, but if the board members, do you have any objection with moving on the agenda until Nancy gets here? Is that okay? The next agenda item, remember we discussed that policy in regards to the damaged mailbox for snowplows. Our administrator clerk has redrafted that. That item, is there a motion to approve, and then we can go into discussion? Or is there a motion to deny? Any motion on the floor in regards to the policy regarding mailbox damage? We wanted to revise it so we're not doing the actual work. We still have the policy, but we're just not going to go out there and actually reinstall that. So at this point, if there's not a lot of discussion, I would make the motion to adopt the policy, the amended policy regarding mailbox damages for the snowplows as drafted by staff. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll make the second.
Second, discussion, gentlemen. It's second by trustee Gary Finch. Any discussion, gentlemen?
So now it's just the $75.
Right. They fill out the form. Brad, did you want to add anything?
No, it's just like trustee Newman said, it's filling out the form and then $75 worth of reimbursement, which is what was determined earlier this year at that time. So just that minor change of taking that out.
Taking that, us installing, because we're pretty short on staff to begin with, so. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Next agenda item is ordinance 2023-12, amending section 56-3, paren B, appointment of a village treasurer. Board members, you all saw the very, very small modification, but I think it's a good one, that was put in your packet. Would there be a motion on the floor to either approve or deny, and then we can get into discussion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
A motion was made by trustee Jim Solani. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Gary Finch. Discussion, gentlemen. You can see the very, very minor changes, so they're not just statutorily. Hi. And the other thing, too, in the motion, we did not put a contingency, but if there's any, if you want, I mean, it's very, very minor. Do you think that needs legal review?
I don't think so.
It's just so minor, that, I mean, the only thing we're doing is not limiting it to, a term set forth. At least it's limited to somebody retiring, resigning, or for cause, which is normal in employment. Right, Jim?
Not for,
Right.
not for cause.
Not for cause.
Not for cause.
Yes. So with that, is any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Gentlemen, would you have any objection to hearing from the lovely deputy sitting in the audience?
No, that sounds like a great idea.
I think so.
Hi, do you have any report for us, or any news, anything going on?
I don't have any report really.
Okay,
We had some stuff at Norris this week, but it's been handled. So that's all we have.
okay. Well, I know we all appreciate your service. So you're welcome to hang out, but like I said, you're welcome to go or hang out, whatever you want to do, but thank you for coming, dear. All right, gentlemen, the next agenda item is our upcoming staff meeting. Just wanted to ask you, with the holidays coming up, do you want to try to schedule something for November? Do you want to wait till January? December is absolutely out. But, I don't know how many of you hunt or cook while people are hunting. Do you want to do something in November, or do you want to wait till January? Because based upon what the board wants, Brad would send an email out to John and Sean, and based upon items that you feel you'd like to discuss, Brad and I could get out like tentative items that we know that we'd like to put on the agenda, but it's nothing earth-shattering. Do you think so, Brad?
No, I don't.
From a
think
staff?
it's earth-shattering.
Do you want to wait till January, gentlemen, or?
I'd be happy with January, personally.
Okay.
I'd be happy with January with the exception of the treasurer thing, but we can have a special meeting.
Yeah, that we would possibly Zoom that, right, Brad? If we need to have one?
If we need one.
I'll send
Right.
you guys an email.
Okay.
Right. So Brad, when you get a chance, if you could just ask Sean and John, Vinny. We usually do it that fourth Thursday. There's at 1:30 in the afternoon. Would that work for everyone? January, that fourth Thursday in January?
I think I'm out of town.
Are you really?
Thursday in January.
That's normally when they are, but we don't have to do that. Jeff, are you out of the town that whole week?
Let me see.
Oh, you know what? There's a.
That's the 23rd, I'm still in town. No, I'm in the wrong month. 1, 2, 3,
There's a
5th. I'm still in town, I leave that weekend.
So you're here January 25th?
Yep, I'm here.
Jim, Gary, Dylan, do you have any problem with the 25th? Do you prefer 1 or 1:30, gentlemen?
I'm open either way.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just check with staff. So Brad, that's going to be the date. January 25th, and depending on staff, 1 or 1:30. Does that sound good, gentlemen?
Right.
Brad, do you have any update on the Center Drive?
Nothing new to report on it.
And you know, Brad keeps that on there just so we're on our toes. Sound good, gentlemen?
Yep.
Alrighty, then we're moving along. Guess what? I don't have a report.
Oh, guess what? I do.
Then I'll defer to trustee number 1, Jim Swanee. Jim?
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick report on our shared services meeting that we had with the Village of Waukesha. Their representatives, Stuart and Dan Buchholz, both were here on time, and we had just kind of an open, and the original agenda really just had an open discussion on shared services. Nothing specific as far as topics go, and it was more to get a feeling for how they felt about shared services. Primarily because the last time I met with their representatives, not the same guys, they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So in this particular case, we came down with, oh, sure, you got the wrong, 4 topics. The first one that they want to deal with, which I kind of knew was coming, I think we all did, was the ability to borrow or loan equipment. Now, it's a little different than what they originally proposed, and I think it's okay, fine. Their main concern was EMS equipment, specifically the ambulances, because if they got more than one that goes down, they don't have ambulance capability. So that's their numero uno topic. But they extended that to say equipment in general, including DPW equipment and any other fire equipment that one might want to borrow. I've got a couple of examples of mutual agreements for that topic. Seem pretty good. I need to go through, and one of the action items was that I will draft up some kind of a topic that we can talk about at our next meeting, which is December 4th at 5 o'clock here again. Then, you know, so they had the equipment, which was a bigger issue. We talked about sharing road work, which in their case really only amounted to one road, Town Line Road, I think. They may be doing that this next year. They may be resurfacing part of it. That they thought was their plan. Stuart is going to get involved with that and find out when Waukesha wants to do that work. So that one may be kind of a non-issue, because if they do their part, I don't know how it's divided up. If we got half the road, like the south side, and they got the north side, or if we got chunks where we got both sides and they got, so that has to be looked into. But that was their second one, along with snow plowing, sharing, we already have a quasi agreement with them. Somebody drew on a Xerox copy of the map. Here, we'll do this, Big Ben does that type of thing. But we'd like to get more of a formal agreement on how that's done. So that'd be maybe the third priority. And right off the top of my head, I don't remember what the fourth issue was that one of us brought up. But at that point, that was, the two big ones were sharing the road work and the equipment. So at our next meeting, I'll present something to them. I'll shoot you guys copies of the original agenda and the minutes that I did for the meeting. They're not approved yet. It won't be until our next shared services meeting. But that way you'll get to know what we're doing. And if I have it done for our next board meeting, I'll shoot you guys a copy of the draft that I want to present to them to get your feeling on it, because one of the things that came out is it's probably gonna be a no-cost deal. We don't charge them, they don't charge us. I don't know if they have any equipment that we would want to borrow or not. That I have to primarily talk with Brett and see. But there may be a two-way street on that.
Okay.
You know, so that's where that stands. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jim. Gary, you have a report? Dylan?
The only thing I'll say is I'll add to what Jim said. The only portions of town line we have, it's like 3 or 4 little sections, little tiny chunks. I want to say it's 3 chunks left of, west of 164, and then 1 bigger chunk east of 164 there. And yet I don't know if they're going to continue to plan on doing that by themselves or what the gang is all doing, but that's all I've really got.
Jeff?
Nothing except to remind residents this time of year where deer are en rut, drive carefully. Deer are out.
Sounds good. Brad, you have any report?
Just that last week I went to the McGonigal School District meeting where they took formal action on elections in our schools. They voted to allow the Village of Vernon and the town of McGonigal to continue to use, for us, Big Bend Elementary through the end of 2024, which is what we had requested of them. So we thank them for working with us on our request and honoring our request. But what that means for us is come 2025, we're just going to have to find a location or locations to hold our elections. With a year ahead of us, I think we've got plenty of time to find something. But just so that everybody's aware it's there, I think, as we go through next year, we will start to educate our residents on where it will be. But in order to prevent confusion come November, our big push will be at the November election and after to start telling people, hey, you won't be voting anymore come 2025 at Big Bend Elementary.
Sounds good. And Brad, if you don't mind, can I hold your report and we could do Nancy Dean's proclamation?
That's all that I have, so
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Nancy, I don't know if you want to hold this while I read this. Brad's going to take it over to you. Nancy, first of all, I know the village board is very, very thankful for all your work. And Nancy, we put this just so that you know. I mean, all the board members, have saw the book. We leave it on the front counter so residents can see it also. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate all the work that you did. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read this proclamation. This is a proclamation recognizing Nancy Dean for her service to the Village of Vernon. It's our proclamation. Whereas Dodge's Corner Cemetery is a resting place for some of the town/Village of Vernon's founding fathers and their families, and whereas Nancy Dean has provided exemplary documentation of the history of Dodge's Corner Cemetery in the Village of Vernon, and whereas the Village Board finds it important to recognize the hard work, dedication, and passion of Nancy Dean to the Village of Vernon. And whereas the Village of Vernon commemorates and recognizes Nancy Dean, who served dedicating her passion and hard work to the history of Dodge's Corner Cemetery in the Village of Vernon. And whereas the Village of Vernon believes that government alone cannot meet all the community's needs, so it partners with individuals who serve in local government and in their community to make a difference. And whereas Nancy Dean has gone above and beyond in her research and documentation of the history of Dodge's Corner Cemetery in the Village of Vernon, and the Village Board and residents are truly grateful for all her efforts. Now therefore be it resolved, the Village Board, on behalf of the residents of the Village of Vernon, present Nancy Dean with this proclamation to thank you, Nancy Dean, for your service to the Village of Vernon. In witness thereof, we have here to set the hands and cause the seal of the Village of Vernon of Wisconsin affixed on the 2nd day of November 2023. And with that, would you all please applaud Nancy Dean? Nancy, once again, I know when I talked to you earlier, you said you've been doing this since 1987 when you were 4. So we really, really,
Thank you. I do have to say, I give 100% credit also to my husband, because if it wasn't for Chuck's continuing support and help with research, he'll be side by side with me at the microfilm machine, or helping me good books together, or saying yes to, I need some more binders. He has, without his help, this could not have been done. And I've got both histories. If there's anything, Town of Vernon, Village of Big Bend, history that you guys need or want to know about, you need dates. I do have a running timeline that I've started. It's not, of course, finished. I'm still researching a lot of information for both communities. And of course, they share so much. Please call me, let me know what you're interested in. If you know of anybody within your community that has historic information that I can add to it, I'm always looking for photographs. I'm looking for anything right down to a matchbook cover from a business that may not be here and hasn't been here for years. I do have one of those, I'm still researching. But I mean, and it can be, maybe there's a written history by one of your ancestors that you have, or an old scrapbook that you want to borrow to me just to copy it. I just scan it and get it back to you. Just literally anything that would be Big Bend Vernon related. Sometimes you have a loved one that passes away and you have to go through all of their things. And you're going, oh, I don't want this. If it's Big Bend Vernon anything, I collect it. So it's like I always tell those people, take a box, whatever you don't want, throw it in there. If you think I'm interested but you want to keep it, but it's still Big Bend Vernon, let me know. I'll copy it and get it back to you. I do have a lot of stuff researched already. Right now I'm working on St. Joe's Church. And so we've got a lot that we've done for them through the years as well. So again, I'm always open to anybody that might have some history to add. It just makes it a fuller history.
Nancy, would you like us to put your phone number and that information in our community newsletter to see if people do have historical information that they should contact you?
Absolutely.
And you'd get that information to our administrator clerk, what number you want us to use or whatever information?
The same one I gave you.
Okay, that sounds good. Gentlemen, is there anything you'd like to add? I know they've all just appreciated, and Chuck, you too. I'm sorry.
I'm serious. You would not believe all the stuff that he has helped me with, and he's my computer geek. So anytime I need something or I need help with something, my backups and everything, he's right there. He's a computer programmer anyway, but he is just a wealth of information. When the computer doesn't want to work, all he has to do is walk up to it and it starts working for him.
Oh.
So I will say he's got something going on with the computer. No, he's been just, I can't say enough. Yes, the force is with him and I use it often.
Well, we both, we appreciate all your efforts. It means so much, and not segregating just Vernon. I know how much you've done for Big Ben also, and you work with the Olsons. Remember the Olsons?
Yeah.
Wanda's in heaven now, but yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and we all enjoyed it so much. But again, if something comes up and maybe you're researching something or you're going over something and you're wondering when something happened, and you can't find it, give me a call. I might have it, I might not, but either way, we'll definitely take a look at it.
Thanks, Nancy. Thank you, Chuck. Gentlemen, anything you'd like to add?
Thank you.
Well, once again,
Anything for Caldwell?
Caldwell, I do have a couple of things, but I can also get you to the Caldwell people. Are you looking for the church?
No, my family, it goes back a couple generations in Caldwell, so if you want anything, I probably have some stuff that you might not have.
Okay, see if you can give me the surnames that you're looking for.
Okay.
And then I can go on from there. They can make my contacts through that. And let me know about, if you have a surname and you have names, like first name, last name, date of birth, date of death, anything you might have on them as a beginning. The more you have, the more we can go into detail for you.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
Well, once again, Nancy and Chuck, thank you so very, very much. We really, really appreciate it. And and the other things we talked about, I'll get on that right away. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Thank you so.
Appreciate it very much. I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh God, no! Don't worry. We were working, right, guys?
Always, always. Look, again, thank you so much. I very much appreciate this. Is so nice.
Thank you again, both Chuck and Nancy. Thanks again, kids.
Okay.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And like I said to the public that's listening, this book is on display at our front counter, so you can just come in and look at Nancy's and Chuck's hard work. Thanks again, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Brad, did you need to do a little update on the newsletter?
We'll have it next time for you guys to look at and approve. I think we got most of it filled out. And,
Right. We know what we're doing.
President Chu has a couple articles. We got one additional one here. We'll talk about upcoming winter stuff for DPW and snow.
Oh, we got to put the Eagle Scouts in, too.
And Eagle Scouts and Debbie Hollinsworth. So we do have a fair amount of stuff to put in there. And so, but if anybody has anything that they can think of in the next 2 weeks or, week, we'll definitely get it in there. So
Were you going to do anything with the survey,
That's going to be in the next newsletter.
the next one?
Next one. Yeah, because we kind of want to piggy that back with, in fact, we want to get, just get the tax bills and stuff out. And then I know Brad and I have been working on a draft and get it to you guys to say, I like this, or what about this? Don't you think so?
yeah, that'll
'Cause
be
we-
capital improvement news,
Right.
survey, and all that stuff kind of go together.
Okay.
Does that sound good, guys? We just want to get this one out so we can get, Brad's going to put a fake tax bill in there and say, if you want to go to Citizens, when you go to Citizens Bank, bring the full, all the things that we want to put in the newsletter. Brad's going to clarify the
We're
tree.
going to do a full page.
Full
ad on
page.
Where to vote.
We will put stuff in there that, we will have, voting stuff in there that, because this will be our first newsletter. Well, this will be the newsletter closest to, if there's anything in
Right.
February, we won't know when the newsletter goes out, if there's elections or not, but, we'll reiterate that it's going to be at the school if there is one in February and for, everything in
April, yeah,
24.
right.
Just so that there's,
Just as long as I mentioned vote, I think this is the year that the municipal judge is up for election.
Yeah, we got to check on that.
I'll have to check.
Because
Yeah, because there's different requirements when there's a judge on the ballot, but we're kind of off subject. We'll
It's-
follow through with that, Brad. Sound good? All right, gentlemen, the DPW director put a report in, emailed a report, and so obviously we can't comment, but if you got any questions, he'd, love to hear from you or stop in, see Brett, but that was in your packet. Brad's going to put that in the e-packet later on. The sheriff's report, the formal one, will be at the next board meeting, and the deputy was here. So with that, I would move on to accounts payable for November 2nd, 2023. And I apologize, the information that I received was, Brad had made a lot of those corrections when he did the final packet, and I had no problem with any of the APs. But I don't know if there's any questions, or what I'll do right now is make a motion to approve the accounts payable dated November 2nd, 2023. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Second
I'll
by
second.
Jim Solani. Discussion, let's go into discussion, gentlemen. What is the amount? I don't have it handy and I don't have my computer.
30 something.
35.
33,000,
Hang on, I'm scrolling.
sorry,
33,669 and 41 cents.
that's the number, gentlemen. Like I said, I have no questions.
I had a question with the city card. There was a Piggly Wiggly receipt in there, but I didn't see that listed on the,
Oh, that's probably was an early, that'll probably be on the next bill. But so it was for, so
I'm just saying the receipt was on there, but it wasn't listed.
Yeah, it'll be on the next bill. So, but that receipt was for, just so you guys know, it was for the soda machine.
Oh, and Brad, on that, that is only one thing that wasn't there. On that city card, there was, the receipt said $40 and, 67, there was a $3 change. Did you see that? The receipt said $40, it was $43.67. On the Citibank, it was $43.67, but they did a $3 discount, and then the final receipt was $40. It was only $3.
$40.97.
Yeah. Did you see that? I mean, that's only $3, but, if you could check that, I would still pay the bill and ask the credit card company,
It was to our advantage, so.
right. Can you check that, Brad? Because usually they'll do a credit on it,
Yeah.
Further discussion, gentlemen?
That Sherwin Industries,
Oh.
I think there were a couple extra receipts in that thing
might-
too that didn't make the,
Yeah, and they'll
List.
probably be in the next invoice.
Oh, and I wanted to ask, do you want to see the packing slips and the actual payment, do you want that in your packets? Because I don't think we need packing slips, do you? I mean, receipts, absolutely. I know the board always feels real strongly about
Right.
that.
Packing list? No.
Yeah,
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some stuff here, like it might have been the Sherwin, I know, where one of them, sometimes they're paying off of statements instead of invoices. So that's just one of the things as we go through, we'll clean up and we'll go off of actual invoices instead of like statements.
and Brad, Payne and Dolan was a remittance, it wasn't an invoice, and it's still town. You would think out of all the big checks we sent to P&D, they check it to the village, but Payne and Dolan still says town. Jeff, do you have any more?
no, that was it.
I brought the point up that John
There's
Hennegayer,
nothing scheduled for
Still on there.
8:23 p.m. tonight.
Sorry.
Brad told me he's changing those out as they go through.
Yeah, it'll take time. We'll change them out. I mean, we still get stuff for Karen, we still get stuff for John. We still get stuff for Doug Salentine, who was previous to John. We still get stuff for Tom Bird, Carl Fortner.
Leroy Tightsey, who's in heaven,
Yeah,
running the
we-
DPW every so often.
It's amazing
That's been a
sometimes who
long
you
time.
get stuff, you're like, every once in a while, you're like, who is this person? So,
And I feel bad because the DNR, they made a big deal about that shoreline. They kept saying that Carl Fortner, so I sent it back. Because they were so anal to Brad. Well, I'm sorry, we're off the subject.
but yeah, so we'll work on getting this cleaned up. It'll take time. But yeah, we'll work on just having or invoices on here, not statements, and then we'll pull all the packing slips or the backup.
Yeah.
For like the Napa receipts and the tickets, basically. is what
Right,
I'm saying.
right.
We'll exclude those from it.
Do you want to see, like, when they pay they always show, like, they make the credit card payment or Spectrum. Do you want to see just the invoice, or do you want to see the payment that they make also? I mean, to me, the receipt is good enough. I mean, I know Brad's got a file. So Brad, if they just give us the bill, just the bill. Sometimes they, copy extra Spectrums, just to make it easier on you and them, instead of copying all that
And
stuff.
do you want, I guess as long as we're at that, do you want to see every building permit?
No.
Or just the cover sheets?
That was a previous board, that they wanted to see the actual permits related to houses or accessory buildings. I don't need to see that because I know we can come in at any time, but I'm more concerned about what the first and second pages say as it relates to, because it indicates how many plumbing and, HVAC. Do you want to see that, or you just want to see the actual payment? Because at any time you guys can come in and review that. Yeah, so Brad, that's all.
If you guys want to review bills at any time,
I know you always put them up there.
just come on in and you guys can, as much time as you'd like reviewing bills.
Yeah, we just had 135 pages this week. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
so
we need
Brad will
another
condense that.
135 on that.
We'll take
Yeah.
I'll work with the guys. to get
Sound
that
good?
stuff.
Some of them were duplicate. Like, this bill was in here already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to clean that up. So further discussion, gentlemen.
Then not at all.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Brad, we have no manual checks.
Nope.
And nothing to report your workhorse, you're going to work on those reconciliations soon. The audit, Karen's shooting for the beginning of November, correct?
Yep, I think we're getting really close. There's a couple of things there, but I think we're really close. I know there's some formal, not number stuff for balances and stuff like that, so we should be able to get numbers soon, I would think. But just some of the stuff that goes into like the management letter regarding it, so just like checks and balances and policy stuff that I think she's looking for, but we'll get that stuff tied up here in the next week with her, and then we should be good. I think she'll probably have to talk to Karen or Jim or somebody probably from the village board, would be my guess.
She did send me
Stuff, okay.
some stuff, and I did respond
So-
about fraud.
So we're getting close here, which is good. So, and to the big thing that that I was working on is that I think, as I told all you guys, there was the issue with the FICA payment. There was an error that Howard discovered in 21 that was corrected in April of 22. That stuff was all taken care of, cleaned up. That stuff's good, but then when that was cleaned up, somehow something in the system got marked wrong, and the employer's portion of employer's contribution to WRS was being counted as FICA wages for the employee, and so the employee was paying FICA on those contributions, which they shouldn't have been, which in result, the village was also paying. So for 2022, there was about $1,500 total for the employees that they paid in FICA that they did not have to pay. And then also for the village, so there was about over $3,000 total that will be refunded to the village and employees that we'll have to get taken care of, that we've identified for that. And then in 23, it totals about $1,200 for the employees and for the village. So, and that error stopped when we switched from the old ACS to Workhorse. So it's there, and we'll have to do some, I think, ancillary amended W-2s and W-3s for 2022, and the stuff for 23 will get fixed with all that. But just so you guys know that that issue will become, has been rectified so that the auditor can take care of it. We'll just get it cleaned up here before the end of the year on our end, so that's there.
Thanks, Brad. Next agenda item we have two sets of minutes. The first are September 21st, 2023. It's a board meeting. I don't know how you want to handle this, gentlemen. Brad, did you see all the?
Oh, I think I saw some of those, and they probably didn't, but
I just, added.
you guys want to table?
Yeah, do you want to table these? Did you get a chance? Because there's a lot of changes.
Yeah,
Unless you
there's
got.
a lot of yellow on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of yellow on both. So can I look for a motion to table September 21st, 2023 and October 19th, 2023 to the next village board meeting? Is there a second? Second. Trustee Millies made that motion, and second by Trustee Newman. Discussion, gentlemen? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Just wanted to remind residents that we have our 2020-24 proposed budget hearing on November 16th at 6 p.m. That's our normal village board meeting. We have a combined village board and plan commission meeting on November 8th, this at 2020-23 at 6 p.m. And just a reminder that all the village administrative and DPW offices will be closed unless there's snow for DPW. They'll be open, but in observance for Thanksgiving, the village hall will be closed on the 23rd and 24th. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Millie, second by Trustee Finch to adjourn. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.
Did they have to go out salting this last snow?
I don't